All right, so I've recently had a dilemma, one that I did not foresee. So today's Sunday. Last Thursday, I went out to buy a guitar, fully intending on purchasing a PRS Core Custom 24. And when I was there, I saw this sitting next to it. Now, this is a PRS CE24. Some would say it's the little brother to the Core series, and some would say it's just a hot-rodded version of the PRS S2 range. I think that, in all honesty, this guitar is one of the best all-around guitars that anybody could purchase. And I'm going to go over a couple of the reasons why. So, my reasoning for getting a new guitar, because everybody's going to have some different use for it. So, I am not a professional musician. I'm not rich. I make a decent living, and I play maybe once or twice a month out. I work on my own music just for fun. I'm a hobbyist. But from time to time, I've enjoyed having some pretty nice guitars. And it was time for me to get that one guitar that I kind of wanted to last for a really long time. That one guitar that someday I'll pass down to my kids. Like, it's just one of those gorgeous pieces that you can't let go. And in this day and age, you know, if my wife watches this video, she'll probably disagree with me, but it's really easy for me to let go of a lot of guitars. I do the Craigslist thing, I do the Facebook Marketplace all the time. Just buying, trading, selling, you know, that's just how it goes. And I've moved through quite a few, and very few have stuck around over the years. But I wanted a guitar that was gonna be a showpiece, something that I could look at and say, man, that's just gorgeous. Something that's going to inspire me to pick it up. Like, every time, everybody has that one guitar, you know, that you look at and you go, man, like, that just, it's begging to be picked up and played. And I've had a few of those over the years, but I wanted one that was mine, brand new, you know, just something that was over the top that I felt like I worked really hard for. I wanted to get a PRS because I've played a few over the years, and I've found that they're honestly one of the nicest playing instruments out there. They get a bit of a bad rap because they're not, you know, the Fender, or they're not the Gibson, you know, they don't have that same pedigree. You know, if you go buy one today, it's not worth, you know, if I bought this today and it was $19.99, it's going to be worth maybe $1,500 tomorrow. You can't say the same thing about a Gibson. Gibsons tend to hold their value decently well. You're not going to get new price for it, but you get a lot closer than you will with a lot of other brands. Same thing with Fenders for the most part. Even the made in Mexico ones, you know, I see go for 75% of list price in some instances, and people will pay for them. But they've got that pedigree behind them. And in some instances, yes, it's well-deserved. They've made some fantastic guitars over the years. In some instances, not so much, which I'm sure we're all well aware. But every PRS guitar that I've ever picked up, you could tell was meticulously cared for, and it was painstakingly thought out in every single piece of it. And I can say the same thing on this, which is why I ended up walking away with this. I fully intended to spend $3,200 to $3,500 on a guitar. I wanted to get the Custom 24. I was thinking possibly in like the whale blue or something of that variety, something special, something with a big gorgeous top on it. And then I picked this up, and I struggled to find a reason to bring the other one home. Don't get me wrong. The Core range is an absolutely gorgeous set of guitars, but this is honestly the best guitar that somebody could get for that one guitar. And so I'm gonna go over what I hope to accomplish with this. So when I was going for a guitar, I needed a guitar that I could use to work in studio stuff, quote unquote. But I also wanted something that I could possibly go and play out with. Now, with a Core series, you know, not everybody wants to take out a $3,000 guitar plus, depending on which one you go with. I wanted something that I could take out maybe. And so the hopes were to take out one guitar instead of taking out many, or using this guitar to cover the range of many different guitars, as PRS has an amazing set of electronics that come in every single one of them. So this is the Fender Stratocaster that I used to play live with. It is an absolutely fantastic beast. I love it so much. She's got a few scars here and there, which, you know, any well-played guitar should have. The thing that I love about something like this is that I don't feel afraid to bash it up. It's got that Fender tone to it that, you know, there's a reason that we play these types of guitars, is they just sound that way. I like having that single coil, the true single coil nature of having these pickups. Now, eagle-eyed viewers will notice that I do have a hot rail style pickup in the bridge. The humbuckers are nice to have. This was my kind of all-around guitar for a long time. It did a fantastic job. But it just missed out on some of those chunky tone. This guitar is a bolt-on neck. It is a maple neck as well, very similar to the structure of a Fender guitar. That is kind of cool. Some people will say they need to have a set neck. They like the glued-in necks. Sure. The one thing that I will say is, for somebody that does like that glued-in neck joint, the joint that is in and on this neck is the exact same fit and the exact same joint that you're gonna get out of the core range. It fits identically. The only thing is that they've saved time and money by making it a bolt-on. Now, does that affect the tone? Everything that you do to a guitar will affect the tone. And if you don't believe that, go watch one of Paul's videos. And I love listening to him talk about how everything that you do to a guitar is subtractive. So the idea of putting, 6 in and getting 6 out is impossible. But if you can put in 6 and get 5.9 out, that's just absolutely amazing. And I think that they don't do anything here unless that it's going to get close to that vision of getting 6 in and getting 5.9 out. So the other thing that I wanted to do was to get close to my second guitar that I brought out. This is a Gibson Les Paul Studio. Also has some scrapes and dings and has been bashed up a little bit. I love this guitar. It plays really well. I've owned several Les Pauls over the years. This guitar, although it's a studio, and a lot of people that have studios will tell you, they play just as good as any of the standards do. This guitar sounds phenomenal. It's got that Les Paul sound. And this is a guitar that I would normally take out if I were gonna go play with a group of people that would do that classic rock. I've actually played a few metal shows with this back in the day. But the problem that I'd run into is if I were playing a set that I required those different tones from, I would bring both of them out. Just because I wanted to make sure that if I'm going to play a show, I want to make it sound as good as I possibly can. But I liked having the flexibility of having both sounds. So that comes to why I ended up with this guitar. Like previously stated, this guitar has a maple neck, it's bolt-on, it has a rosewood fretboard, very similar to F-style guitars, because there's a lot of other guitars that are going to be the same way. Now, like a Gibson Les Paul, it's mahogany backed with a maple cap, with a nice maple cap too. It's not a veneer, it's not just a thin piece of maple or anything like that. It's a solid maple cap. The thing that I like about this one over the core is that although it looks like it has a good cap on it, it's actually a lot thinner than the core model is. Not by a ton, I mean, we're talking millimeters here. But the thing about this is that the ratio from mahogany to maple on this is actually more mahogany than it is maple comparatively to the core model. It's 70% mahogany to 30% maple. Whereas on the core series, it's right around 60-40, so 60% mahogany, 40% maple. I think that this is really cool because it has a maple neck, which is inherently going to bring out a lot more upper mids. They've balanced it out by putting more mahogany in it. So it gets a very similar sound to the core range. If you side by side these, and there's a ton of YouTube videos on there, go check it out. They sound pretty similar, and part of the reason is because not only have they done that to match it a little bit better, they use the exact same American pickups in them. They use the exact same electronics, the exact same tuners. The bridge is the same one that's going to be on the S2 as well as the SE, but that's okay, to be honest with you. And if you check a lot of videos, although it's a cost-saving measure, it really doesn't change the sound that much, and the tuning stability is still great. I absolutely love this guitar, and it feels good. It feels the same way that the core does. I played them side by side, and there's something about these particular guitars that I don't think a lot of people end up purchasing them. I feel like they go straight from the S2 into the core series, because if I want to get a PRS at a decent price and I still want it to be a great guitar that I can take out, why not just go for the S2? That way I'm not sinking a giant chunk of change into it. But this guitar fits so much more because you still get a gorgeous flamed maple top. They do an enormous range of colors on these, which is really cool. I'm very particular to this gray one, and they had a green one there too that was just really gorgeous. Actually, now you do get the bird inlays still. Some people don't like them. Some people prefer doing the dots instead. I like these. I think that they're a really cool feature, and it's an instant way to tell a PRS guitar. Now they are plastic, so they're not going to be the same as like the abalone or the mother of pearl inlays that I've seen on a couple of them. I see mostly abalone. Or something to that effect. But it's just kind of one of those great features that's on a guitar like this. Now, honestly, the reason that most people go with these guitars is because of their playability. This is one of the best guitars I've ever put my hands on. The satin neck that's on the back, although it was a cost-saving feature, it's an amazing feeling neck. It's a player's neck. And the reason being is if you're going to play this every night and you're going to sweat into it, it doesn't get sticky. The neck is going to shine up really nicely over the years once you play it in, because the oils in your hands are just going to saturate it, and it's going to feel so good. And honestly, it already does. I like that satin neck feel. Like it just feels really nice to the touch. It's soft, it's easy to maneuver on. People that play fast, they're going to feel just as good about this one as they are about anything else. Now, the one thing that I don't like is the lack of options that you get as far as the electronics in the neck. This one comes with the pattern thin neck. That's the only one that you can get it with. As far as I'm aware, I know that you can't order them, and all the ones that I've ever seen came with a pattern thin neck. And they all come with the same pickups in them. I feel I'm okay with the pattern thin neck, just to be honest with you. It feels really good. It feels like a wide thin kind of neck. In all honesty, what it feels closest to is this Explorer that I have. The neck profile on them is so similar as far as the width, the nut width, and the taper that's on them, and the thickness. It feels almost identical to an Explorer, to be honest with you. This feels played in. I've played it quite a bit. Not so much that it's gotten like a lot of the finish removed, but it feels like a played in neck does. This comes out of the box that way. This comes brand new from the factory, like that kind of feel. In any guitar from PRS, now again, like I say, they're getting to that area where they have that crazy pedigree, where they're starting to get up to the concept of being in the same realm as like a Gibson and a Fender and a lot of the old brands. You can tell that over the last 30 plus years, that Paul has done nothing but try and put as much emphasis on being for the player than any other manufacturer that I've played to this date. And the cool thing is, because he doesn't have to play inside that what if the fans don't like this kind of deal, like with Fenders, you have to kind of make them very similar. This is the first year actually the Player Series just came out, and it's the first year that they've really made an update to some of their guitars. But he doesn't have to fall into that same, well, maybe we won't change this or maybe we won't change that. And Gibson got around that by doing a traditional spec guitar and a high performance spec guitar. All Paul has done over the last 30 plus years, as every little piece that he puts in there, you can tell it's completely for the player. Now the way in which, like, the area in which the neck leaves the body is perfect for you to be able to get up to those high frets while still having enough neck joint to have good resonance with the body. The tuning keys that are in this, I've seen several tuning keys over the years. These come standard with locking tuning keys that have brass on them. The ratio is amazing. They're a phenomenal set of tuners. You can tell that he's put a lot of emphasis on creating this bridge. It feels extremely comfortable. It holds tune very well with the tuners that they have. The tremolo system is absolutely amazing. I think it's one of the best that I've seen in a long time. The knobs that are on these, if you've never touched these knobs before, these are amazing. So they've got little like ridges on them. And honestly, like, while you're playing, you can flick that with your pinky and you don't have to worry about being sweaty. You don't have to worry about missing it. And the nice thing is it's right under where you need to be. It's right under where you would if you'd be palm muting or if you're strumming. Like, it's not going to get in the way, but it's close enough that you can flick it on and off really easily. The way in which they do the coil split on this, I think, is absolutely fantastic. You get 90% of your the screw poles. which is kind of cool because I feel like it fattens up a little bit more than traditional single coils, but you still get that punch, that twang, that brightness to them, you know, that articulation. The cool thing is because they leave a little bit of that coil in there, it reduces the hum more so than another coil split guitar that I've had or coil tap guitars. And the reason that I like this one over the Core is because I honestly, the 5-blade selector is really cool. It's kind of a love-hate thing for a lot of people. But I like the way that they've done this one because if I'm playing live, this is so much easier to get to when I'm playing. You can actually flick it so easily. It's got that Gibson style 3-way selector that you'd find on a Les Paul, but with the ability to still tap, coils tap. I think that that's just so cool. I mean, that is honestly the player in mind. Now, don't get me wrong, anybody's gonna argue with me and say, well, you could do that, you know, on the 5-way selector switch. That's the whole point, is giving you the options. But the thing that I like about this is it gives you the option to still do that while keeping the gigging player in mind. Like I said before, I fully went in expecting to spend $3,500 on a guitar, and I walked out spending $2,000. So I saved $1,500, yes. Was that my aim? No. I went in 100% expecting to spend that money. But this seemed, honestly, like the best option because I still, like I said, you still get a gorgeous top on them. The cool thing is I get 99% of all the positives that you're going to get out of a Core series. But I don't have to worry about that little piece of, well, what if somebody picks it up and they ding it or they scratch it? Yeah, it's going to suck. It sucks for any guitar. You know, you want to be the one to create those battle scars on some of them, and some of them you just don't want scars on at all. But the big thing for me here is I can use this as a gigging instrument. It is perfectly ready to do that. I don't have to... I can use this as an art piece in the house. I can leave this out and it looks like a nice guitar. And I think that you get much more value out of something like this than you do out of the Core series. As somebody that might be considering, you know, doing a Core, I think that somebody should look at this guitar because I think that you're gonna get everything that you want out of it. The only thing that you're gonna be missing really is a better top. And you can find, I've seen, you call me crazy, but I've seen a couple 10 tops in this particular variety, so you can get that good top. And I think that it's a much better player guitar than the Core series is. And that's why I went with this one. So closing thoughts on this. The reason, simple, so we're gonna do 3 simple reasons why I chose this guitar. 1, I like the playability of the neck on this over the Core series. I won't say over the Core series, but it gives a little bit more flexibility to it. I feel like it'll play in real well. I like the versatility of this because this really is the in-between all-around guitar. So having, you know, bolt-on maple neck, rosewood fretboard, but mahogany back and maple cap. I think that the tones that you get out of this can be Gibson-esque and can also be Fender-esque. But 3, as somebody who is not a professional musician, just an average guy who uses guitar as a hobby, you would never regret buying this guitar if you were looking at possibly spending that kind of money. Now, if you have that money to spend, that's great. I think that that's absolutely fantastic. And there's a lot of options out there for people that are looking to spend this kind of money. The nice thing about this is you get the exact same quality, you get the exact same playability, and you get pretty similar tones out of this one that you are going to get out of the Core. The Core has a little bit lower mids, and this one has a little bit more upper mids. So yeah, if you are looking for a PRS guitar and you have the cash to spend, I feel like this is a phenomenal guitar. I would strongly urge anybody looking for a Core to pick this up and at least try it out. They are gorgeous beasts. They play phenomenally, and if you're honestly interested in upgrading to a guitar like this, pick one up used. I've seen them go for, I saw one today on Facebook Marketplace go for $9.99. So thanks for watching. Appreciate anything you guys have to say about it. If you think I made the wrong decision, you know, let me know. But I think that this is the right choice. Thanks, guys.